Did you know that a lot of people really struggle with selling because they are not able to face rejections? And did you know most people, they're not able to grow their business because of their inability to sell effectively? Hi, my name is Siddharth Rajsekar, and in this particular video, I'm going to be sharing with you a very powerful set of principles on how to get better at selling. That's the topic of this particular video. In the last 4 years, I've been able to build a multi-million dollar business, done over $5 million in sales in my business. And I've been able to help thousands of people get better at sales. At this point, documented over 60 members who have crossed over 1 crore following my selling system. And what I've done is in this video, I've broken down to the 10 most essential principles that can help you get better at sales. So take a lot of notes. And if you're ready to learn about this, just type "I want sales" in the comment box. If you're watching this on Facebook or if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever, just type "I want sales" in the comment box, because this is going to be a very important and practical set of ideas that you're going to be getting to get better at sales. So let's begin. The first point is that I want to share is, if you want to get better at sales, you got to really understand human behavior on a much deeper level. Because if you look at buying, right, buying is never a logical decision. It's always an emotional decision. And we normally buy something and then we rationalize it later with logic. We buy emotionally and we rationalize with logic. So when you're able to understand human psychology and human behavior and what makes people buy, that will actually help you get better at sales. In fact, in my book, You Can Coach, I talk about 27 different buying triggers that actually make people emotionally go and buy. So first, understand human behavior. That's the first point. The second thing is you need to be good at storytelling. Many of you might have heard of this. Facts tell, but stories sell. So once you start to weave in stories in your presentation of your personal life, stories of transformation, what you went through, when people listen to those stories, they get connected to your story and they feel that if you can do it, they can also do it. So stories are extremely powerful for people to feel those emotions so that they can make that decision to buy your product. And if you look at some of the biggest campaigns in the world, say Apple, they launch the next iPhone, or they launch the new iPad, or whatever. Whenever they do their WWDC event, they not only talk about the logical part of what all is there and all the features, but they talk about the benefits of it. They talk about, they weave a story on how the product was redesigned from the scratch, and they basically tell stories. So good storytellers are good salespeople. Okay. The other thing is, you want to get better at sales is you got to really craft offers that solve problems. Problem-solving offer crafting. So what do I mean by this? Like when you attend my next webinar, if you're not a part of my community, you'll actually learn. When you come to that sales part, you'll understand that every single product that I give as a part of my offering is solving some problem or the other. This is a big mistake people do, is when they're trying to sell their product or service, they don't customize that product or service to cater to the needs of the target market. So when you reverse engineer that whole thing, you'll be able to get much better sales, because then your prospect or the lead, they will feel that you're able to understand them more and that you have a solution to that problem that they're actually looking for. So in other words, when you're able to make a list of the top problems that the target market is facing, and then you are able to craft an offer to solve that effectively, whether it's a course or a coaching or a consulting, whatever may be the case, you'll do better in sales. You'll convert better. Number 4th is facing rejections. Most people are not able to break through this barrier because a lot of people, they are afraid to hear the word no. There have been many webinars in my initial days where nobody has bought. Like there would be 100 people, but no one would buy. And I would feel like crap. But then the more and more I started to do it, I got a little bit more thick-skinned, if I should say. So right now I don't care whether people are going to buy or not. And that counterintuitively is helping me get better sales. So facing rejection is a part of the game, and you need to be open to others saying no to you. And they're not saying no to you as a person. They're just saying no to the product that you're offering. So a lot of people take this personally. If nobody buys the product, that something is wrong with them. It's not like that. The minute you disassociate yourself with the product, when people say no, it is not you, it is the product. Okay. So you need to be okay with facing rejections. Number 5 is you got to follow a selling system. And this is what I teach in my webinar selling formula, where if you have to really get the sale and get a really good conversion at the end, you have to follow a sequence, like your intro sequence, then your story sequence, then your content needs to be really blowing people's minds away, because that's where you establish your trust, authority, and credibility. And then when you lead into the offer, people will be ready to actually invest in whatever you're trying to offer them. So there's a whole system to it, and it's a process. in a webinar. Now, if you're doing a one-to-one sales, even there's a process over there. It's a slightly different process. So you need to understand the target market's or your prospects' problems. You need to hear out all the problems first, then diagnose the problem like how a doctor would diagnose, and then give the solution, and then you close the sale with some kind of urgency and scarcity also at the end. So even scarcity and urgency are important elements. People will not buy unless you give like a limited offer or only so much of time left. As humans, we don't move unless we feel that there is some urgency there. So you got to follow a selling system, and that's a part of the selling system. Number 6 is you got to practice. You are not going to get good at this the first time. It's like batting in the nets. Keep batting, and keep practicing. And every time you do a sales, you learn something more about yourself. You learn something more about your audience. You learn something more about the resistances, so that the next time you come back, you can improve it. So that's the number 6. Number 7 is you want to improve your sales. Get feedback from non-buyers. What I used to do before is after I finished my sales pitch, I would put a Google form and ask people to type in that Google form, why did you not buy? Okay. Like, what are the resistances? What made you not buy the product? Let me know. And I had a whole list of points. And every time I would look into those points, I would see if I can address that in the next webinar or in the next time I do it. So that's how I improved my sales process. And now I pretty much know all the possible objections that people would ask me with my topic and what I'm selling. And I have an answer to those questions. So you'll only get better at selling by getting feedback from non-buyers. To get good sales, it's authenticity. It all comes down to authenticity. It's not a switch. It's not like, okay, you can be authentic right now. You are or you're not. And if you're not, you got to work on it. People can sense your energy. They can see through your intentions. So when you are able to put the spotlight on the needs of your customers, the needs of your students, what do they really want? When you're able to shift that, where it's not about you, it's not about how much money you make, it's not about how profitable you are. It's about how you can solve the problem. When you're going with that vibe, people can feel it, and that will actually help you get better sales. And being real, open, transparent, vulnerable, it's all part of authenticity. Number 9 is don't focus on the sale, leading to the previous point. I've noticed in webinars where I've gone, when I look at the number of people in the webinar, say there are 100 or 200 people, and I'm thinking in my mind, okay, I want to get 20 sales. I'm focusing on 10% sales during the webinar. And those are the webinars I don't do well. And the webinars where I don't even bother about whether I'm going to get 20 sales or not. In some webinars where there are 100 people in the webinar, I've got like 20, 30 sales. Where I'm not focusing on the sale. I'm focusing on the value that I'm delivering in the time that I have. It's a very internal thing. You all need to experience it once. And what I used to do, even now I do it, is before the sales, before I do my webinar, I listen to the strangest secret in the world, or I set the intention, I close my eyes, just to connect with my audience on a deeper level before I get into the session. Where the intention I set is, okay, in this webinar, I don't care whether I'm going to get sales or not. I just want to create an impact in every single person who's there live. And I want to create an impression that's going to change their life. Whether they're going to buy or not, that is secondary. So I go with that intention with a lot of detachment. And I've been surprised at the number of sales that come out of it. And finally, the 10th point is get feedback from your buyers. Ask your buyers, why did they buy your product? What are the factors that help them make the decision? And when you're able to get these pointers all noted down, you'll be able to improve your sales process. Okay. So these are the 10 ways on how you can become better at selling. If you found this video useful, please share your comments below on which one of these 10 points impacted you the most. If you're not a part of my community, I would highly recommend that you register for my next webinar by going to sidz.co, sidz.co/live. Let me pull up that particular link. And here is the link. So if you go to sidz.co/live, there's a ticker that's ticking over here. You can attend my next live webinar, and you can learn more about how you can build a super profitable business without any office or employees, with the knowledge and the skills that you have. And if you're a part of my community, please hit that like button, comment below using the hashtag #AlexDeepLearner if you'd like to win a signed copy of my book. You can coach in my next inner circle call, so that you can win those gifts every single week. With that being said, cheers, God bless, and I'm looking forward to sharing more like this in my future videos. Thanks.